yesterday afternoon, finally got it done. It had been sitting there for 4 weeks, and that's annoying when I have to sit out there and I'm like, man, I can't do it today. But I was mowing the lawn, listening to music on shuffle as I do it. And a certain song came on. What was it? The Killers song came on. And I might have hit repeat. I might have hit it. I might have hit it twice.
Yeah.
Three times. 14. Who's to say? I don't know. But it felt like a good week to do that.
I think it was appropriate timing, and let the fun begin. We are finally here in the week of the rivalry renewal, and it's going to be a party on Saturday. So it'll be a fun week on the big show, bringing you into that one. I feel like it's going to be difficult to get to just about any other topic because it's all I'm thinking about right now.
I mean, that'd be very tough.
We're fired up.
We will try our best to talk everything, but realize that this week,
mostly that
special week, if you can understand. We will talk some Mizzou. Eli Drinkwitz was at the podium this afternoon. Injury updates, some important ones to talk about, and unfortunate ones at that. So we'll get to that in a few minutes. We'll also talk about the wild college football weekend. What was the most surprising part about it to you? We'll discuss that at 5:05, and the injury expert Will Carroll joins us at 4:25 as well. Call or text us here at 875-KTGR. Tweet us at KTGR Big Show. And find us on Facebook at facebook.com/KTGR Big Show.
The Big Show's Big Deal.
So the update from Eli Drinkwitz today was that kicker Blake Craig is out for the season. Torn ACL, went through the procedure earlier this week and done for the year. In just one game into his redshirt sophomore season, was the starter all season last year for Mizzou at the place kicker spot. And in the first game last week against Central Arkansas, got injured on a kickoff play early in the second half. So his season is done. Robert Meyer will be the place kicker going forward per Eli Drinkwitz, and Oliver Robbins will handle kickoff specialist duties. Tigers also brought in a JUCO kicker to help out with depth there as well. On the Sam Horn front, Drinkwitz did not go into specifics on that, but just said that Horn would be out, quote, an extended period of time, end quote. So it does not seem to be a short-term injury there either, at least, but we don't know for sure how long for Sam Horn. That's the Big Show's Big Deal. On the second day of September 2025, you can call or text us here at 875-KTGR. All going into a pretty big week, but we'll get to that in a second. First off, there's clearly something that Mizzou's going to have to overcome now. Two significant injuries to a couple of players that look, Blake Craig certainly we knew was going to help them. Sam Horn, should the opportunity have come for him at some point down the line, could have helped Mizzou football in that sense. But now having to rehab from the injury. But this now all of a sudden is something, Brenden, that's the Tigers are going to have to adjust to.
Yeah, I mean, he was going to be a real weapon for this team. So that is the real downside of this. I was pretty fired up watching him drain two pretty long field goals in that opening game. I think the longer of the two was 55.
Yeah.
And that is a serious weapon to have for your football team, especially I'm talking about college football. Like in the NFL, that maybe it's more par for the course. And heck, maybe even here at Missouri, it's more par for the course with what Harrison Mevis was able to do, a couple of years ago. But I just feel like that's going to be an adjustment for Eli Drinkwitz and the coaching staff to. It's not to say that Meyer won't be able to get the job done as well, but there's a lot more that we don't know about this guy because he has not had to do it at this level yet. And with Blake Craig, we said, well, last year, maybe some inconsistencies, but really felt like he started to dial things in. And certainly the long range was something that we were impressed about when it came to Blake Craig. And one game in, he was already doing it, decides to get involved in a tackle when it's 33-0 against an FCS foe. I could go on. Yeah. But it is what it is. We got to move on. We got to turn the page, right? And so I think it's going to probably have an impact on certain situational moments, end of half situations, fourth down, fourth and short. Do you decide to make a different decision instead of trotting out the field goal unit? There will come a proving ground for Robert Meyer. It may very well even be this weekend where you need a big kick and it's not necessarily a long one. Maybe it will be. But if you're lining up from 41 yards, like, those are got to have them this weekend against KU. So that's going to be a significant change. We're going to have to kind of all brace for it a little bit the first time he goes out there for a real field goal. I know he kicked some PATs last weekend, and he comes with hype as well, right? Was rated 13th in the kicking class according to one of the big kicking gurus, and so it's not to say this kid is not going to be able to get it done. We just haven't seen it yet, Andy. So anytime you're introing a new kicker, there are questions associated with that.
Here was Eli Drinkwitz earlier today on Robert Meyer.
One, he's got a great leg. It's just confidence in understanding conditions, right? He's always been able to kick. So, he just got to have confidence that he can do it in front of sold-out crowds, which is always, a nervous thing to do. And then, conditions change. So being able to adjust and adapt to wind, cold, humidity, dampness, all those things, affect the kicker in the ball flight. So, those will be things that he has to adjust to as we continue to practice.
And so with a new kicker, or a kicker that, is coming into college football for the first time himself, how does that change what Eli Drinkwitz does game plan wise or situationally when it comes to having a guy like Robert Meyer instead of the guy that you were expecting to have all along?
It doesn't change. No, we're going to play the game. Robbie can kick. I'm not going into it thinking he's not going to be able to do something that I know he can do and shown in practice. Now, do we have to adjust after we see things? We'll figure that out. But I'm not putting limitations on players going into it. He's practiced. He's performed. He's kicked in big moments in fall camp. Again, I hate injuries. They stink. I hate that. But, there's a lot of players on our team that are all scholarship players that have opportunities to come in here and perform, and that's why they're here. So it's not like, we're having open tryouts because we don't have anybody else on the roster that's ever kicked. We just went and signed somebody from JUCO, but we didn't have open tryouts.
There's a difference. Brenden.
He did, and he also said there are scholarship. Was Robert Meyer a scholarship kid, or was he a preferred walk-on? Is that a thing anymore?
I don't know
either.
I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
Anymore. Yeah,
it doesn't matter. Drink is correct. That you're going to go in and you're going to say, at least for that first one, like, hey, this is what we do. We bring our kicker into this spot. Let's see what he can do. And then do you have to make adjustments thereafter? Cross that bridge when you get to it. I think is 100% the right approach. And you have a feel for the game. I think Drink will have a feel for the moment of what his kicker is going to be capable to do. And I mean, think about if he does drain a big one. Think about if you go into a halftime really saying, 3 points would be great here, and he comes up with it. That's going to be a huge confidence boost if that moment can arrive for the kid. So that's what I'll be rooting for on Saturday and hoping that it happens. Obviously I want to see Mizzou score a touchdown every time they get the football, but there are going to be moments where field goal is needed. And hopefully when his name is called, he comes in there and confidently gets it done.
Or it could be, icing on the cake almost. Maybe it's at the end of a half and maybe you're a little far back. You didn't quite complete the pass that you needed to
1 minute drill,
get to something like that. You're just trying to get something. And even if you try a long kick, but you don't make it, then you're not really giving up that much because it's the end of the half and field position resets, everything like that. So that's maybe an area where you can trust Robert Meyer to say, okay, let's see what you got in that leg and go from there. But the question is all right, tie game, or even you're down 3, let's say. Yeah. And there's 8 minutes left and you're on the 35 and it's 4th and 6.
Give me a number.
6. What do you do?
You probably kick it, actually, if it's 4th and
really?
6. If it's 4th and 3, though.
Well, yeah, that's a little different.
I mean, if it's 4th and 3 and it's a 48-yard field goal, I hope they're going. I just think you need to be playing.
Well, but you're probably going for it even with Blake Craig. You're going for 4th and 3. You're going for 4th and short. 4th and medium, you're maybe thinking about a little more.
I think so. But what if it's the other way around? What if it's 4th and 2, but it's a chip shot, 38-yard field goal where normally you go, obviously you can take those points, but you also, it's still 4th and short and we can control the ball for another couple of series and maybe wind the clock down and win the game by punching it in. I'm going to always err on the side, especially with a quarterback like Perbula who can extend plays. You can roll him out. If he sees daylight, he can dive for 6 feet, 2 yards and get it. I would be inclined to go for it more often than not. I wanted him to go for it pretty much every time with Brady Cook last year, and we saw times where they would punt, where they would play field control. And you also have to, like, as much as that's not the cool thing to do in the moment, they do, on paper, project to have a very good, capable defense. And so trusting your defense, trusting your punter may be a different aspect. Like, there are a lot of sort of, in-game interesting things that could happen when it comes to special teams at this point, where last year, the punting game wasn't as strong. And so we'll see what the punting looks like this time around. But now you're also talking about a new place kicker due to the injury. So it's going to be interesting to see the way that impacts strategy. Drink said the right thing, though, by saying it doesn't. Just, continue to anything that young kicker may hear. It's just going to be all positive, all confidence in him until you're given a reason to think otherwise.
Well, and probably even more importantly, I think it's also true of the quarterback situation too, right? Like you don't want to limit Bo Prabula based on the fact that, hey, one bad hit and you're out, and we've got a true freshman in there now all of a sudden.
Right.
And Eli Drinkwitz was asked about that as well. What do you change about Bo Prabula's play? And he said, nothing.
Bo's going to be Bo. So I don't need Bo to change anything. You can't control injuries. You can't be afraid of them. You got to play your game. And whatever makes Bo the best quarterback he can be is what Bo's got to be. And that's what he's going to do. So, I mean, if he's going to have a opportunity to get out of bounds, sure. Would we love for him to do that? Absolutely. Will we ask him to? Great. But Bo's going to be Bo. And I don't want him thinking. I want him doing. I want him playing.
Yeah, like when it comes to, if the opportunity arises for you to step out of bounds, then yeah, like the wise thing would be to step out of bounds in most situations. But when you're talking about making the aggressive play or the play that Mizzou needs you to make, then there's no that. So there is a little bit of a balance there, I would say, but you don't want to limit what Bo Prabula is.
And I don't think that balance has anything to do with Sam Horn's status. Like, I think that would be true regardless of, like, I don't think Bo Prabula can allow that balance to be altered by the knowledge of my backup right now is a true freshman. I don't think that part of it can come into play.
Yeah.
I think that balance would be something that you hope the quarterback would strike anyway because of self-preservation when it's called for. But there will be moments where he puts his body on the line. We saw it again and again from Brady Cook, and we've talked a lot about how we appreciate the comparisons and the similarities between Bo Prabula and Brady Cook. And so I think that part of it is just the game. You can't necessarily change what you do because of who's behind you or who's not behind you on the depth chart anymore. And I don't get the sense that Bo will. Hearing from him after the first game and the way he sort of was sheepish about, I know there's some times where I could slide, but he's going to do his thing, and you just hope he does it in a way that no undue risk, right? That the risks you're taking are because that's the part of football where you put your body on the line to get the win, and then you're smart whenever you can afford to be smart.
Right. You make the plays that your team needs, but you still preserve yourself to make the next play and be out there so that Zowers doesn't have to be thrown into the fire right away.
Yeah. Avoid the reckless play. The one that's just the juice ain't worth the squeeze. Avoid the Blake Craig play if we can. That's hopefully something they may have to tell Robert Meyer, you're not a tackler on this special teams unit, because granted, he's not doing kickoff specialist. So
right, he's just place kicking. The other guy is Oliver Robbins is the one that was handling kickoff specialists.
How I wish Oliver Robbins would have been kicking off in the second half of the last game, but that is what it is. We move. It is what it is. You can't change it. You can't go back. And it's the next man up, and it's a true freshman, but he's got a leg. It's the first thing Drink said. He's got a leg. Well, that's all it's not the only thing, but it's probably the first thing.
Hopefully he has a couple of legs. I want
two. I do prefer I guess it could be done without two, but it's just a lot easier.
Yeah.
To kind of step
mechanic wise,
it's just easier. Yeah. Mechanically, yes.
875 KTGR. Call or text us here to talk about the injuries. Again, Blake Craig out for the season, torn ACL. Sam Horn out, quote, an extended period of time, end quote. We don't know exactly what that means. No specifics given from Eli Drinkwitz on that front, but it at least seems that they're leaving the door open at some point for a return. We just don't know when that would be, and probably not anytime soon. Now to this week. Oh boy. I mean, how many questions? There are deservedly so. Lots of questions that need to be asked about this type of game. Eli Drinkwitz talked about the fact that they brought in several people who were connected to this rivalry, played in it, coached in it, several guest speakers coming in to educate the team about the rivalry. And here was what he wanted his players to know about it in the end.
It means a lot to a lot of people. It's a privilege to wear the Mizzou on your chest. And when you wear Mizzou, you're representing 6 million people in this state. And that's just current. There's past and present. I think we're team 136. And there's some people that, felt like there's just a lot of importance. And this is our chance to write our part of the story. The game's not, we're going to continue to play this game. So this is just one part of the story, but it's an important part, and we get a chance to play in it.
So he talked about how important it is, and now his players know about how important it is. But what does that mean when it comes to trying to play in said game on Saturday?
The biggest thing that I'm telling our team is you got to understand it, but once the ball's kicked, you got to play the game, and you got to play the game with execution and fundamentals and technique. And the most important thing for us right now is to improve from last week's performance, both technically, fundamentally, and execution-wise. And so, going back to, have I asked about, coaching in this game? And we've coached in some rivalry games before. We've been a part of some rivalry games before. So I think we have an understanding of what the intensity is going to be. But there's been no, is there a certain schematic thing that we need to do because it's a rivalry game? It's just, you got to stay calm, stay present.
Hard to do, though, right? There is an emotional weight to it. The players themselves have had to be educated about it, and they most likely are not as attached to it as everybody watching, which is why we imagine, man, there must be so much weighing on every single play here for each one of these players. Players have been wired to be look, next play mentality, don't just move on to whatever the next task is, rivalry game or not. But it just comes down to whether that actually takes place on the field.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not playing because I'm going to be a wreck for 3.5 hours. This is the first one in a good long while, and it's going to count too. This still can be, despite having a couple of injuries there at the beginning of the season, right? This could still be a really special season. It has to be a win on Saturday, I think, to still really become that, Andy. It's almost two separate tracks. There's the track of it's the Kansas game, and then there's the track of what that means in the context of your season and how important it is to win this game to continue on toward the goals, right? There are two things going on with this, and they're both pretty big.
It's amazing. And again, all the fans have been circling this for at least 5 years. I think they announced this series right after Drink took over. I think it was during COVID or something like that. I can't remember exactly when it was, but Drinkwitz had just
May 2nd, 2020. I see a release from mutigers.com.
So we were wondering if there was going to be a football season that year, that whole time. Yeah. We're oh, hey, Mizzou and Kansas is going to play in, several years from now. Hopefully we'll have football still by then, but it turns out we do. That's good news. But that's the weight of it. Everyone has been leading up to this. You can even go back 3 years ago. Kansas will probably bring it up more with the whole bowl game situation. Did Mizzou want to play Kansas there, or were they ducking? Look, I don't think that they were ducking them, but there's almost enough ammunition on the KU side to have enough to say, oh yeah, you definitely were.
There's the perception is reality of it all. It doesn't really matter what the reasons were. If they've decided that, a certain thing went down a certain way, then that's what they're going to use as ammo, as you said. Landon chiming in on YouTube, which you can do, by the way, as well. Head on to the KTGR Sports YouTube channel to watch us live. Saturday at 2:30 is all I can think about. MIZ. That comes in from Landon. And that's sort of, that's the vibe right now. That'll be the vibe tomorrow and Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday will be here. And I would say make sure that you're there before 2:30. Because again, the construction, they do a great job. They did a great job for the last one. I will tell you, I think the congestion might ramp up a little bit for this one compared to last week's game, which was a sellout, but it wasn't a KU sellout.
I'm worried about like driving across town, even like South Columbia to like the center.
Don't do that. Don't make a habit of going near the epicenter. What would you do? What time does one leave from O'Fallon to get there if you're leaving on Saturday morning?
Oh man, O'Fallon, Missouri. Let's see.
Yeah, it's a little past Wentzville. Wentzville's a good 80 miles. I used to do the Wentzville to Columbia thing in like an hour flat.
Yeah,
because you could go a little bit over. You know, that was maybe my college trajectory back in the day. We know that construction. You're not going to be cruising down 70 at the speed limit or even a little bit above, especially with all the tiger tails that'll be heading that direction. So leave early and just make sure you know what gate you're going into. It's going to be a party,
seriously.
but everybody's got to be. No, it helps a ton to look at the map. We sat in the student center and said, okay, if we go down Tiger Avenue this way, we're going to be here. We're going to go around that. We're going to be right where we need to be. Plan ahead and it'll work out just fine. But there are going to be a lot of people, as there should be. It's going to be the biggest party on campus since when? What's the last time that we have people this fired up about looking forward to an individual
people were fired up
game.
about Oklahoma last year. I mean,
no doubt
was a
about
good
it.
one.
Yeah,
I can remember at least one of. I was trying to remember if it was the Oklahoma game or the Auburn game, where I quite literally was worried, like, am I gonna be there before like the band starts playing? And I left 2 hours before. Like, yeah. So that was just a bunch of stuff happening all at the same time, and now you've got the construction to add to it, and everyone has been coached. Hopefully, that like, guys, you got to go early. Make sure you get there early.
I'm trying to leave Wentzville by 7 a.m. That's the plan.
There you go. Well, here's the thing. Here's the plan. Here's the plan. Go to the Tiger Tailgate in front of Mizzou Arena.
Now, what time does that start?
That
starts 2 hours before, I hear.
No, different this year.
Wrong answer.
Because of all of this that is happening.
Yeah.
We made sure to open that up 30 minutes earlier than usual. It's now 2.5 minutes before.
It's a noon start. Yeah. Okay.
So noon is when the Tiger Tailgate opens up on Saturday that you can go and check out, all with Dive Bar, Bud Light, High Noon, Zing Zang, Lucky One Lemonade, and Echo Water, Midmo Water Solutions, beg your pardon. You can go and drink all of that and eat all of that for free, as long as you get your free Tiger Tailgate pass beforehand at any of the sponsor locations. Yeah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The problem is the tailgate passes. You can't find them anywhere. They're not available to the public, right?
Oh. No, they are
going to play along.
No, they are available to the public. Yes, it's great.
We'll rehearse that next time.
No. I assume so.
It's like like one of those old time infomercials. Like, but where do I pick up my pass? Well, I'll tell you.
Let me tell you, you're in luck.
But wait. There's more.
That's
you can
perfect.
Get the passes
I will say though, word to the wise, the passes will be available starting Wednesday. So today, if you tried to go and get them, they're not quite there yet. But on Wednesday, tomorrow, you can go and start getting them at places like Big O Tires, Shangri-La dispensaries, break time convenience stores, a couple of them in Columbia that you can go and find them. Boone Hospital Wound Healing Center, a lot of places that you can go and get your Tiger Tailgate passes. You might be wondering, Brenden, how do I know the full list of places that I can get the Tiger Tailgate pass?
Places.
All of them.
That can't be is that known? Is that out there anywhere? The full list I'm talking about.
Oh, I got news for you.
Okay.
It's all on the KTGR app, if you know about that,
good.
which I know you've had to be reminded about before. Yes, we do. It's powered by Yingling. Go and catch it over on your app store for both Android and for Apple. Download the KTGR app, and you can see the full list of sponsor locations that you can pick up your free Tiger Tailgate passes this week. This should be a fun tailgate. Tell you what, starting at noon on Saturday, be sure to check it out on the KTGR app.
Yeah. Pretty good.
875 KTGR. If you want to call or
text
us
list
here.
I'm looking at all the locations right now.
Yeah, there you go. And you're like, this is by me. This is by, I can drive by that after work. It'd be easy. Go and pick it up there.
They got them all around mid-Missouri. I mean, this is some kind of good.
Try to help everybody out to get the Tiger Tailgate passes in their hands. Go and get them KTGR app and KTGR.com. 875-KTGR. Call or text us about how you're feeling about this huge game coming up this weekend. We'll talk about the injury to Sam Horn with the injury expert Will Carroll coming up next. Also, several roster moves essentially made because of injuries for both the Cardinals and the Royals. We'll get to those with Will coming up next on The Big Show, KTGR.
Miss the latest edition of The Big Show? Catch up on demand with a full show podcast on the KTGR app. Download it now, wherever you get your apps.
Hey, it's Andy and Brenden here with Underdog Fantasy, and man, are we happy that football is back all college football weekend long. I hope you were making plays on Underdog so you can win cash on those big-time performances. And Brenden, what are you looking forward to now?
Well, we're just a couple days away from the beginning of the NFL season at this point, and on Underdog, they're always throwing out fun promos that can really spice up your entries. For example, Eagles-Cowboys on Thursday. There's a Saquon Barkley promo in my Underdog account. Do I think he can go higher than 0 rushing yards? I certainly do. So I'll put that pick in there with maybe something from CD Lamb higher than half a touchdown. It really is that simple to form entries on Underdog and win cash for your positions all season long.
And you can do it right here in Missouri, which makes it so much easier. So download the Underdog app today and sign up with our promo code KTGR to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code KTGR. Be one of the millions of fans that have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Free-for-all RV Road Warriors, your best blast of Branson just turned into a bad day bummer. You ran out of gas, blew a tire, killed your battery, or sitting sideways in a ditch, and managed to lock yourselves out. Ouch. Hey, it could happen. And for the save, you call I-70 Towing. They're Mid-Missouri's go-to crew for roadside assistance, too. Fuel, tires, batteries, locks, winching, you name it. When your world seems to have been wrecked, call the team they hope you never have to meet. I-70towing.com. Now serving Boonville. Winching.
You know that old driver in the corner of your garage? The one half jammed into an old golf bag that's now serving as a spider hotel? Yeah, somebody wants that driver, you know. Play it against sports. They'll pay you for the gear you're not using. Golf equipment, fitness gear, baseball, softball, and more. Bring it in and cash out, or upgrade to something you need for the upcoming season. Play it against sports once your used equipment. They need it. So don't sit on it, swing on it. Play it against sports in Columbia. Think of them first so you don't finish last. Play it against sportscolumbiamo.com.
Let's talk numbers, because if you're a fan of stats, you'll want to hear this. Flight by Yuengling has just 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's light beer that actually brings some game day flavor. Whether you're at the tailgate or watching from the couch, Flight delivers that crisp, refreshing taste without the extra baggage. Brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's legit. Flight by Yuengling, the next generation of light beer. DG Yuengling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
If you're craving something delicious, find your way to the Pasta Factory, where everything's made from scratch daily. Their fresh sauces, cakes, quiche, dressings, and soups are sure to tantalize your taste buds. And all pasta entrees are cooked, baked, and tossed to order. Don't leave without sampling those homemade desserts, lovingly crafted by Jason and Rob. Good. The Pasta Factory. Visit them at 3103 West Broadway Business Park, right in front of Walmart. Closed Mondays and Tuesdays. The Pasta Factory, where fresh meets flavor.
Shangri-La is proud to be a part of every black and gold home game this season at the Zimmer Tiger Tailgate. Swing by our tent to play games, win prizes, and hang out with Missouri's top team of cannabis aficionados. Want to join the fun? Pick up your free Tiger Tailgate tickets at any Shangri-La location. Then come find us on game day. We'll be bringing the energy, the prizes, and the community spirit that makes Tiger football unforgettable. Shangri-La Dispensaries is paradise found. ShangriLaDispensaries.com.
Back to more of the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. You've got The Big Show on the KTGR app.
We're back here on the Big Show, KTGR and the KTGR app, as we once again talk with the injury expert Will Carroll, talking baseball injuries, but also a little bit of football as that gets started. College football now in full swing, NFL coming up this weekend. You can follow Will at Injury Expert on Twitter and subscribe to his newsletter, undertheknife.substack.com. Why don't we start with football, Will? There's been a couple of injuries already on the Mizzou football front that were addressed earlier today by Eli Drinkwitz. Blake Craig, their kicker, is out for the season with a torn ACL. And then Sam Horn, one of the quarterbacks that was competing for the starting job this year, now going to be out, as they say, an extended period of time with the lower body injury that he suffered in that one play he was in the first half. We know less about the Sam Horn injury. The Craig one is a little more final. We know it's a torn ACL, but with Horn's situation now, both as a football player and a baseball player, as we know, how do you kind of read that and what the aftermath was, despite not really knowing concrete details now?
Yeah, we don't have the full details yet, but it was certainly a tough one. There were a couple things that stood out to me watching the play. I mean, obviously, this is a fast kid. He's very, very athletic. It's amazing that the Dodgers can get hurt even when they're not playing for the Dodgers. But he's one of those two-way stars, so that nothing wrong with that. The Dodgers knew he was going to be out there, and playing quarterback is certainly risky. I mean, everybody at Mizzou will remember him having Tommy John surgery not terribly long ago, so you do wonder, if this does turn out to be a ligament injury like many think, is this just that he has bad ligaments? We still know very little about the genetics, the structural makeup of most of these players, but there's suggestions. We see players like Ronald Acuna, who had both knees done. We had players like Manny Machado several years ago had to have both knees done. There's even been some talks. I had a talk with somebody from the Mets a couple of years ago after Acuna, and I was like, do you guys ever wonder about like Luis Angel Acuna? If his brother has, let's just call it bad ligaments, do you wonder about the brother? And they had some fairly interesting things to talk about. There's not really a whole lot we can do aside from take pictures, from knowing the players and getting your hands on them. But for Horn, this is just one of those unfortunate things. You hope it's not going to completely wipe him out for a season. He is talented and certainly was competing for the job there. So we'll just have to wait on the specifics of it, but it certainly didn't look good. The other thing is we see so many turf fields. I'm not, horribly against turf. I don't love them, but we do see a higher instance of injuries. And I think colleges, especially now that these players are high dollar, in many cases, they're going to have to think about it. Are players going to want to go to grass fields more? Does that tip the difference if the money didn't? I think that's going to be one issue. And the other thing, and I don't get this, and I noticed it again, I see so many players out there this week that are basically wearing shorts. Why don't players like pads anymore? I get that we've had, for years, the speed players like Deion Sanders didn't wear knee pads. But now these guys are basically wearing Bermuda shorts, even shorter. I don't get it. I just flat out don't get it.
It's been interesting over the years how that has evolved, but certainly hoping the best for Horn and certainly for Craig as they recover from those significant injuries. Let's turn to baseball here, Will. The Cardinals made a couple of roster moves not too long ago. It was actually before the weekend. Alec Burleson on the injured list. He's got wrist inflammation. He had an injection to help out with it, letting it settle. And of course, they'll look at it afterwards. And then Joel Pozo, concussion list for him, the 7-day IL after taking a foul tip off the mask. So a couple of issues there. How do you kind of see both of those, again, as the Cardinals try to get through the season with as many healthy guys as possible?
Yeah, that's the thing, is they've got to get these guys back, and they've just had such a hard time getting all of them back at once to see maybe do you have something. You can obviously evaluate the individual players, and they are. But with Burleson, his wrist swelled up. He had a hard time moving it properly. They did hit him with a cortisone injection, which, of course, is not cortisone in most cases. I've talked about this before, but actually has had some good results. He was actually out throwing before yesterday's game, so that's a good sign after a couple of days of letting that take effect. So I think we could see him back at or near the minimum. With Pozo, this is a tough one. And I think this brings up another issue is, catchers for time immemorial, as long as people have been dumb enough to get back there, you're going to get foul tips. You're going to get hit in the hands. You're going to take hits. That's why we always say catchers don't develop their hitting as much, because they have so many other things to do and they get beat up. But the other thing is, when you take a look at the equipment, there have been some fairly significant improvements. But there are two areas where I really wonder about this. First is the mask. We do see both hitters and umpires have concussions after taking hits. We've seen it where it's been not that big a hit, but it just hits them the wrong way and it takes the force. It doesn't distribute it the way it's supposed to. There are some out there that have springs. I'd like to see those used more. I'd like to see some of the football kind of developments. We've seen football helmets get better and better. I'd like to see some of those shift over to baseball, and they really haven't, because these concussions are tough and can take players out and have consequences down the line, as well as I'd love to see those trickle down to youth and higher level high school, college catchers, because they have the same problems, and there's certainly not enough development or even attention being paid to that problem.
The injury expert Will Carroll here on the Big Show KTGR in the KTGR app. So the Cardinals will monitor those two situations along with Nolan Arenado. I guess more positive news within the last week that we've heard about on his front, that he's been working in Jupiter but is going to return to St. Louis. And I'm not sure if that's happened just yet, but that appears to be a sign that he could be returning at some point. I wonder, Will, how expedited they want the Cardinals to be that, or if it's just that let Nolan Arenado figure it out, because he's the wily veteran. He knows his body.
You would think so. This is one of those things where it has been just odd. But the more I talk to people about it, the more it sounds like it's just the PR of it is a little bit squirrely, more than the medical part. I was like, why did he go to a doctor in Miami? Well, because Miami's right there, and there's good doctors in Miami that the team was comfortable with. He is coming back. He'll be back on Wednesday to be examined by the team. They'll have the team doctors there, I'm sure, as well as the trainers. And he's going to work out with the team. I want to say that's either Wednesday or Thursday. And then the expectation is he's going to go on a rehab assignment. Haven't looked at the schedule to see where it would be. My guess is it's going to be somewhere close. There was talk that it was going to be in Florida. He did a lot of work down there, but they elected not to do it down there. Probably for the competition, but we could see him over in Springfield. We could see him down in Memphis. They like to have it be home, and that doesn't always fit with the schedule. They like to have it close. I'm told this is going to be extremely quick. If his swing looks good in a game or two, he could be back quickly. So I do think we're going to see Arenado before too terribly long.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case for the Cardinals as they try to work him back. Now, on the Royals side, interesting moves over the last 24 hours they've made. Jonathan India was placed on the injured list with a wrist injury. So let's start there, Will. I mean, a guy that's, has been pretty much an everyday guy, despite going through some ups and downs this year offensively. Now he lands on the IL with the Royals still trying to make that push. How do you see that?
Yeah, this is just bad timing. India is a guy who has played well enough this year, certainly for a guy who they basically got for free. And they've had some guys like Massey that have had injuries. They brought in Frazier when he was free talent, same sort of thing. So it's bad timing, but they have cover for it. So I don't think this will be either that serious for the team in the interim or for India that this sort of wrist inflammation will keep him out that long.
Yeah, and we'll see what that looks like for him. One of the corresponding moves was bringing back Jack Caglione, who had been rehabbing himself, but also the Royals, I'm sure, using that time as well for a guy that had struggled at the big league level at the very beginning of his big league career, to have him, work out at the AAA spot a little bit more. And now looks like they're wanting him to help out the big league club again. So how do you see that in relation to Jack Caglione's injury, Will?
Yeah, with Calhoun, he was great. He absolutely tore up AAA Omaha again. And, he hit almost 400 down there. He showed good power. I think he had 4 or 5 home runs, which is exactly what you want to see. What I am curious about is he going to be strictly a designated hitter? They brought in Grichuk, they brought in Yastrzemski, and they've been solid enough as a platoon out there in right. Does he displace Yastrzemski in that platoon? I don't know. But if they do that, what are they going to do with Sal Perez? Does Sal Perez move first? If Calhoun is just the DH, that really kind of clogs up the roster. And that would surprise me, especially with young Carter Jensen coming up and likely to get more looks defensively. He's one of the best young catching prospects around. And Perez is not young, but also not ready to go. They would make a nice right-left platoon back there. So I'll be curious to see exactly how the team puts this whole roster together as they push.
Yeah, and especially with that Carter Jensen news, because you talk about him, you talk about Sal Perez still in that mix, and then as you mentioned, Caglione and Vinny Pasquantino, who has been mashing recently. It seems that there's maybe a bit of a conundrum there that extends on into further seasons. How do you kind of see that going forward, Will?
Yeah, that's going to be the question: is what is Calhoun? Is he strictly the team's second best hitter? Well, that's okay, but it does clog up that roster in the same way Shohei Ohtani does, in the same way that Giancarlo Stanton does. If you have those players locked into that slot, you don't get the flexibility you often do to say, okay, my catcher is still a really good hitter, but he needs an off day. Or, this matches up okay, but I'd rather start this guy with this pitcher. It just takes away flexibility. And especially with Calhoun, I'm still stuck on the idea that he's a two-way player. I know the Royals are saying that's absolutely not the case, but he was such a good pitcher.
Will, what's new at Under the Knife?
Covering all the injuries, and there's a ton of them. We're looking at there's some big relief injuries, and that's going to have more of an effect on a lot of places than people think. The Brewers losing their closer, losing their backup closer. We see one of the top arms in San Diego going down with a really tough tendon injury. So we'll be looking at those and all the injuries around the league as we push into September.
Yeah, here it is. And the final playoff push, it'll be playoff time before we know it. And great to talk all things injuries for baseball and football with the injury expert, Will Carroll. And you can find all of those insights at undertheknife.substack.com. Will, thanks for coming on the Big Show. Hope you're well. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks a lot.
Big Show's on at 444 KTGR and the KTGR app. And it'll be that time once again, playoff baseball, and see if the Royals are part of it. Still trying to keep a gasp of breath going. And maybe Carter Jensen helps. That'll be interesting there, Brenden. We'll see.
Yeah, man. Baseball and stuff. Sorry. I said I would try to talk about other stuff today. I didn't say I'd succeed.
You attempted.
But yeah, the Royals are still kind of hanging around there. So
that's what counts, Brenden. You attempted.
You tried.
Yes.
The Cardinals have tried too, but it's not gone as well.
Not really. Call or text is here, 875-KTGR, here on the Big Show. We'll talk about, North Carolina trying.
They
tried.
Sort
of. We'll talk about that and the other wild stuff from the college football weekend and under the bus after this live local sports center.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. Eli Drinkwitz updated today at his weekly press conference about the injuries to Blake Craig and Sam Horn. Kicker Blake Craig is out for the season. Torn ACL for the redshirt sophomore kicker that he suffered in game one of the season, early second half on a kickoff play against Central Arkansas. Craig had hit field goals of 49 and 55 yards in that game already and was the starter all last season for Mizzou. Drinkwitz said today that true freshman Robert Meyer will be the place kicker going forward in Craig's absence, and Oliver Robbins will handle kickoff specialist duties going forward. Tigers getting set for The Kansas Jayhawks this Saturday at 2:30. Coverage begins with the Yingling Tiger Game Day show at 11:30 right here on KTGR. Also on the injury to quarterback Sam Horn. Drinkwitz did not give specific details, but said that Horn would be out a significant period of time, or an extended period of time, I should say. Horn got injured on his first play of the game in the first half against Central Arkansas as well. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with the Boone County Office of Emergency Management, inviting you to the 5th Annual Ready Festival at Cosmo Park, September 18th. More details at ready.boonemo.org.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking partly cloudy skies tonight. We drop down into the upper 50s. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny to start with increasing clouds, a high in the low 80s. We'll see a chance for some showers and storms by early evening. Some of those could produce heavy rain and gusty winds and perhaps even some small hail. We're much cooler by Thursday morning as temperatures drop into the low 50s. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Did you miss the Mizzou Play of the Week?
More pleated motion to the right. 4 in the box for Central Arkansas, wanting to throw for Beulah. Steps up, fires. Deep post pattern. Johnson open, catches at the 9. Touchdown, Missouri. A perfectly thrown ball. 49-yard strike. Both for Beulah to Marquise Johnson. And Missouri's on the board.
The Mizzou Play of the Week is powered by Yingling. Your home for Mizzou football is KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Profit Shares. I have a feeling that you're somebody that likes to get things right. Like, you'll be watching all the games with your buddies, and then a big upset happens, and you'll be like, not upsetting to me, knew that was going to happen. Well, hey, you can put that knowledge to the test at ProfitShares.com. That's PROPHET shares.com. It is totally free to play. You do not have to pay a single thing. All you do is you go online, you pick who's going to win. You can go to college sports. You can go to pro sports. You can play in different contests. You can climb up the leaderboard, get those bragging rights. And it's essentially play money that you're winning as you get more things right. But if you get enough play money, you can redeem it for things like gift cards to your favorite restaurants or charitable donations too. You can make an impact that way. So go check it out. That's PROPHET shares.com, ProfitShares.com. You can go sign up, play with all your buddies, and you can let them for sure know that you're the sports know-it-all, especially during this football season. Go check it out, ProfitShares.com.
Macadoodles does selection like nobody else. If you're looking for ingredients to make the perfect new drink, look no further. Why settle for boring? Macadoodles has you covered. With Columbia's widest variety of beer, wine, and spirits, you're sure to find something new and exciting when you shop with Macadoodles. Come experience the difference in selection at Macadoodles today. Macadoodles delivers world-class customer service and unmatched selection at unbeatable prices. Who does selection like nobody else? Macadoodles does.
It was 9 a.m. on a Monday when the phone rang. Brian Ware Plumbing answered the call. But this caller didn't need plumbing services. They'd had a water disaster.
Hold on, sir. We'll transfer you to our restoration division.
Wait, what? Brian Ware has a restoration division? Then they remembered what they'd heard at the beginning of the phone call. Let's roll it back in slow-mo.
Brian Ware Plumbing and Restoration.
Yep. Brian Ware Plumbing now does water and mold restoration. Better call Brian and unplug your plumbing problems. Or your restoration ones. You know what? We'll work on it. BrianWarePlumbing.com.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Be prepared for the unexpected and keep your home powered with Generac generators. Their home standby generators serve as an excellent backup plan in case of a power outage. Plus, they have advanced technology to automatically start within seconds of sensing a power loss. Save big on Generac generators. Also, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com.
Save big money at Menards.
Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness. I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself up mentally and physically and emotionally. Our goal is to help you find your inner strength and hardness. The difference between strength and weakness is choice. With our group fitness classes and personal training and open gym, the choice is yours. Choose strength. Find us at APIProjectFitness.com or call us at 573-268-6944 to make an appointment.
Hi, I'm Tristan Colon, Mizzou grad and 6-year NFL veteran.
I'm Charlie Stickland.
And I'm Sarah Stickland-McDonald of the Stickland & Stickland Injury Law Firm.
In football, home field advantage can make all the difference.
The same is true when choosing your injury lawyer.
We're locals. We know the courts, we know the towns, we know the people.
Just as I protect my team on the field,
Our family will protect your family.
When sorry just doesn't cut it.
Push back with Sticklin and Sticklin.
They can't shoot it straight on the golf course, but they can shoot straight on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Back to Andy and Brenden on The Big Show on KTGR.
So that debut for Bill Belichick the other day. Ouch. I mean, started well, scored on the opening drive, but then 48 unanswered points later, or 41, I can't remember. It was a lot. TCU just dominated, man. And boy, oh boy, did TCU's social media department just have a heyday on North Carolina right afterwards. Retweeting the Bill Belichick documentary trailer and say, when does episode 1 come out? Showcasing the whole season. If you go through their feed today, they're just living their best life, and good for them. They deserve it.
They do. And look, they knew the way that was going to play out in terms of the media attention that would go on that matchup. It was going to be very, very one-sided, and it was, but so too was the game. TCU was favored, but barely, and they blew them out.
Also, did you see Bill Belichick's post-game press conference? And not necessarily what was said, but what the setting looked like. He's standing at this podium, but there is a lot happening around. There's a big balloon arch. There's ribbons and all these themes happening here. Looks like a kid's birthday party. And he's standing there after a 30-point blowout in this setting that seems all hunky-dory, and he's probably on to Cincinnati or whatever it is.
Whatever it is that's next. Yeah.
That was
Under the Bus.
Kind of funny, honestly, watching all of that. Also, hilarious. The Oregon Duck. Unfortunate for him. First game of the year, and you have a mascot snafu. Did you not see this? Did you not see what happened?
Okay, hold on, because Andy, I haven't seen this, but did we not predict that something would happen with the Oregon Duck on last week's show?
We did.
We said
totally
specifically that the Oregon Duck would have.
Yeah. We were talking about the Johnson face-off between family members, week 0.
Yeah, Avery Johnson family, right?
And then week 1,
we said, what do we do? Okay, Oregon Duck, something's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
We said all this. So what happened?
Well, he got decapitated. Pretty much lost the helmet. Lost the helmet on the field and immediately had to just sprint back into the tunnel so nobody would notice. And the helmet's just laying there on the, as he's running out in between the band lines and everything like that. And then
you have to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Of all the mascots to have this, we said this would happen.
We said it would happen.
What is happening? Oh my! I hadn't seen that, and my mind is blown right now. I have to go back to last week and remember what day we were talking about this, because we totally did say that. All right, next week, give us something with the Oregon Duck, and there it is. Wow,
there it is. I can't believe it. Under the bus to us, I guess, because we did this.
Forget that. Yeah, we nailed it.
Right.
I'm going to predict some other stuff for this weekend.
Go do it. What's happening week 2?
Oh, my goodness.
What do we
Give me a minute.
What do we come up with?
I'll think about it. I'll have something for you.
All right, very good. A lot of wild, a lot of crazy. That's what college football is all about, right? But you could not have had a more perfect send-off for Lee Corso. I mean, watching College Game Day, they played it up exactly the way they should. Even had him on the loudspeakers in the stadium, in the horseshoe before Ohio State, Texas. Of course, he puts on the Buckeye helmet, says, "Getting my first love." It was his first ever pick as a game day host. And not only did Lee Corso get that pick right, and every other pick that he made that day right, including Florida State. Not only that,
he was the only one to pick FSU.
Not only that, but every team that Lee Corso played for and coached for during that part of his life, they're like 6 different schools. They all won that day too. Like Florida State, Indiana, Navy, Northern Illinois. I'm forgetting a couple, but they all won. Like, that is incredible. Hats off, Lee
What
Corso.
a day. What a day. What a career, man. Yeah, that was cool. That was neat to watch. I think did they simulcast it onto the Fox broadcast?
I think they did, yeah.
I mean, everybody was aces and stand up when it came to that. Nobody let, broadcast rights or different things get in the way of, like, that's the way it should go down. And that was cool to see. Everybody sort of came together around that on Saturday.
So we soldier on in this football. It's almost like, it's weird. We saw Lee Corso to start the year, and now we're not going to.
It's
odd. But look, they did it the right way. Lee Corso got to go out the way that he wanted to. If that was at the start of the season, so be it. That's what he's earned. But man, it's going to look different. It's going to look so different, man.
Going to look different, going to feel different. But college football season will resume. We got a big game coming up, of course.
Yeah, this weekend. Give us your thoughts on it. 573-875-KTGR. You can also tell us what was most surprising to you from the first weekend in full of college football over these last few days. Talk about that coming up next, and even some NFL thoughts at 525 on The Big Show.
Discover, explore, and soak in the views of the incredible landscapes that make up the last frontier, Alaska. Experience the diverse culture and rich history as we cruise the Pacific coast and explore the wilds of Denali, Glacier Bay, and beyond. Join Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel September 9th at 6:30 p.m. at the Courtyard Marriott in Columbia for an informational meeting. Alaska, the last frontier, and it's waiting for you. To RSVP and learn more, go to ZimmerCommunications.com.
Darling, may I have a refill on my coffee?
Sure thing, babe. You like this brew?
Delicious. What is it?
It's Cafe Caldi.
Caldi's Coffee from St. Louis? I love stopping by their cafes.
Yeah, I saw on their website last year they were voted the #1 Reader's Choice in USA Today. A local family-owned coffee company beat all the big chains. I can really taste the difference.
Discover what makes coffee roasted in Missouri different when you visit Caldi'sCoffee.com and enjoy their full selection of blends and unique coffees from around the world. Caldi's Coffee. Great coffee since 1994.
You've already met a few members of the Family Pond family. Now it's time to meet the newest one. Family Pond's South Columbia location is just off South Providence. And just like every family pond, it's got a personality all its own. Different jewelry, different tools, different gadgets and gear. That's the beauty of the family. No two stores are exactly alike. So after you stop by your favorite, swing by South Columbia. It's your newest Family Pond store to explore.
Rock your traditional pawn shop. Family Pawn.
Gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Sweetie, the backyard's that way.
Oh, yeah. Just figured I'd use the toilet.
It's not normal for your man to pee indoors. He could be suffering from low D, low deck. A low deck just isn't as fun to pee off.
Maybe I'll try sitting down.
Or no D, no deck at all. But there's help with Crutch's Custom Exteriors. A sky-high pee platform is all he needs to be and pee like a man again. Crutch's Custom Exteriors. True beauty is on the outside.
KTGR AM Columbia. KTGR FM Fulton, Columbia. K286CL Columbia. In Missouri's total sports station. KTGR. Sports Center.
I'm Christine Lisi. Cowboys owner Jerry Jones has given his side of how contract negotiations with edge rusher Micah Parsons several times, saying he and Parsons had a handshake agreement on an extension back in March. Well, today it was Parsons' agent, David Mulligetta's turn.
I understand Jerry's always going to do what's best for the Cowboys, and we get that, right? His job is to do what's best for the team and put them in the best situation to win. I'm not sure how this turned the way it did. We were open to negotiate. We reached out numerous times to Adam Briska there, who does their contracts, and asked him, to start negotiations. But for some reason, coming out of that conversation, Jerry believed that he had reached an agreement and he was not open to negotiating any further.
David Mulligetta on First Take. He also said Parsons is doing everything he can to play for the team he was recently traded to, the Packers, in Sunday's season opener versus the Lions. The expectation of Steelers coach Mike Tomlin is that defensive lineman Cam Hayward will play against the Jets Sunday, even though he's been a limited participant this summer amid a contract stalemate. Earlier today on his podcast, though, Hayward replied, "We'll see," when asked if he'll play in the opener.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. If you're a renter, make sure you're protected. Renter's insurance includes options that cover stolen property, personal injury, and living expenses if your place is damaged. Quote renter's insurance at progressive.com.
From Faro.
15 to the 10, to the house.
Bush.
Back to the wall, and it's got her.
And Arrowhead.
Touchdown, Kansas City.
To your speakers.
This is the big show, baby.
Get fresh takes on the biggest sports stories in mid-Missouri. Right now, this is The Big Show with Andy and Brenden on KTGR.
Second hour here on the program. This should be a pretty fun week. Have some fun with us here with a call or text, 875-KTGR. Also, find us live now on our YouTube page at KTGR Sports to leave a comment there, and we might get to that as well. So go and check that out. Just started doing that not too long ago. Hope you go and subscribe there as we talk some college football. What was the most surprising thing from week one? We'll get into what we were shocked by here in just a few minutes. It is the start of the NFL season this week as well. I know Mizzou, Kansas takes up a lot of our headspace this week, as it rightfully should. But we should also maybe leave some room for some bold predictions for how the NFL season's going to go. Chiefs start on Friday. Call or text us with your bold predictions at 525. Call or text us at 875-KTGR. But first, it's 5 o'clock.
It's time for the Top 5 at 5 on The Big Show. Number 1.
If you want to trade away for curtain number 1, you can have curtain 1.
So Mizzou coach Eli Drinkwitz had the injury updates today during his weekly press conference in the midweek. Yeah, Blake Craig, the big leg kicker for the Tigers, out for the year. He tore his ACL trying to make that tackle on kickoff coverage in the week 1 matchup against Central Arkansas. And yes, it was 33-0. And yes, it was an FCS foe. Anyway, Craig has already had his surgery for that torn ACL. Sam Horn, by the way, will be out for an extended period of time, which isn't really an encouraging update, but I guess it's better for morale than a full confirmation that he too would be out for the season. On the quarterback side, it's obviously Bo Pribula's show now. He's got to still play his game. He can't play differently just because of who is or isn't behind him on the depth chart. And from the kicking side, it'll be true freshman Robert Meyer taking the reins. We'll see how he does if he comes up with a big kick on Saturday.
Number 2.
Number 2, your timing is impeccable.
And speaking of Saturday, yeah, the season marches on despite the injuries. And this week it marches on with the renewal of the border war. And yes, for goodness sake, I'm calling it a war, not a showdown. Sue me. Mizzou and KU, the hate is real. And honestly, this is going to be a hard week to get through. Just knowing the anticipation of that game looms. Mizzou is favored about 6 points across the sports books in your jurisdiction of legality. I don't care if Mizzou covers this week. You just got to get that W.
Number 3.
Here's Jordan for 3. Yes!
Cardinals, yikes. I mean, if we had a show yesterday, maybe we would have been able to tell you about the great weekend they had. They got a series win against the Cincinnati Reds on the road, but then they came back home yesterday and laid an egg. 11-3, the loss to the Athletics, and it's really just more of the same for the Cardinals, just not getting enough from starting pitching. Yesterday, though, it was Sonny Gray, 7 earned. He gave up a touchdown to the A's. Yeah, that's about where things are right now for the Cardinals.
Number 4.
Oh, shanked it.
Now, Royals got shut out in their last game, but it was Tarek Skubal on the mound against the Tigers on Sunday. And, you know, they did end up getting a win in that weekend series. They're still a little bit above 500, still on the periphery of the American League wildcard race. It just doesn't feel like they're making a charge, though. It's kind of win one, lose one when it comes to KC right now. They're not out of it, but they're going to need a push, and maybe it'll come soon.
Number 5.
Where's the 5 fingers? Say to the face. Slap.
Chapel Bill, what happened? 48-14. Bill Belichick loses his college football debut heading up the North Carolina Tar Heels with all those dignitaries in the stands. Yeah, they didn't witness much except a loss.
That's the Big Show's Top 5 at 5 on KTGR.
Call or text us at 875-KTGR. I mean, even Aaron Boone was there. Like, what was Aaron Boone doing there? Like,
everybody was there,
yeah.
man. It was like they wanted so badly for this to become a thing, right? North Carolina football to become a thing under Bill Belichick this year. I don't think it's happening. How many of those dignitaries are going to be back for the next home game? Because I don't know how many of them are going to want to waste their time. Maybe MJ, he's got some strong ties, of course, North Carolina, but I don't know that all of those folks are. Maybe Eric Church, he loves it, man. He loves all things UNC. Certainly shows up for the basketball. Remember that time we talked about Eric Church canceling a concert so he could go see his Tar Heels in the Final Four? I mean, that guy definitely bleeds the baby blue.
It's North Carolina Duke. I can forgive him for that, right?
No, I was on his side.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things though where you lay an egg like that, Bill. We were all rooting for you, sort of. Not really. It was actually kind of funny to watch it happen that way.
I can't remember if I was or not.
No, I thought they would honestly do better than that. But it is kind of funny in the aftermath now to think about how big of a deal and ordeal that was made to be. And look, I had predicted he would never actually coach a game there, and I was wrong.
You could argue that you're still right.
I know. Not much coaching going on, Bill.
Come on. Any adjustments that you want to make after 24-7 or something like that? Yeah.
No. 48-14, the final. I was a St. Louis Rams fan for that ad infinitum Super Bowl. So there's always that little, in the little pang of justice it feels against Bill Belichick when it comes to my worldview. So hey, it's kind of funny to me that he's losing now. I'll take what I can get.
Okay, so here's the thing. We talked last week about the Oregon Duck. Here's the we made a promo out of this. Like, here it is. Like, here's the promo from last week.
For the best local sports talk around, it's The Big Show.
You had the starting quarterback of the marquee game of week 0. His dad and brother get into a brawl in a parking lot. What would be a funny mascot to, get arrested at a game or something? It
would 100% be the Oregon Duck.
This week, it's you, Oregon Duck. You're up next for something crazy to happen. I don't know why.
That's The Big Show. Weekday afternoons from 4 to 6 on your total sports station, KTGR.
What?
It happened.
It happened.
Something crazy legitimately happened to specific of all the mascots we could have gone with. We nailed it.
There are hundreds of college football mascots out there that were playing game. They weren't playing games, but they were working this weekend. They had work to do. And we picked out the one that ended up getting exposed essentially as for real identity of who the Oregon Duck was. Man.
That's a big deal too. A lot of times, you don't find out at some schools till the end. Like when you're a senior and they say, I was the mascot the whole time, and their buddies maybe didn't even know. I don't know what the tradition is at Oregon, but the guy ran off the field like it was like he wasn't supposed to be seen in that condition. And everybody had the phones out. So I'm sure that's a whole thing up there in Eugene this week. And I feel like we're kind of responsible. We almost manifested it, with our prediction. Do you feel bad? You came up with that.
I really
Oregon
do.
Duck.
I right off the top of my head, I'm like, oh, I know who it's going to be.
It's going to be the Oregon Duck.
I sentenced that guy to some real embarrassment. I apologize, man.
I hope they don't find out because that's some weird voodoo magic right there, dude. That's a power to wield, Again, we got to use these powers for good, not evil, but that felt a little bit on the evil side.
Who does Oregon
sort of a chaotic?
Who's Oregon got this week?
I don't know.
They have a big game. They have one of those big non-con games.
I'm moving on from the Oregon Duck thing. I think we got to try to
look. At least on the field, nothing was wrong. Like they crushed Montana State.
But we didn't say that Oregon would have a problem. We said their mascot would, and that's who did.
They play Oklahoma State this weekend.
Oh, so easy dub.
Easy. What is it?
Well, is this like the 18th year anniversary? It might be to the day of the I'm a man, I'm 40 rant today. I think I saw that
today.
Somewhere.
Really?
I think it was in. That's what I heard.
Seems early. I thought that was later in the year. Interesting. Well, what's the connection to Oregon though? Is that like it, or just that popped in your head because I said Oklahoma State?
You said they're playing Oklahoma State,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's why it popped in your head. I didn't know if there was a connection to Oregon along with Oklahoma State.
That was just like, look, there's a squirrel. I was just moving on to the next thing. I was like, oh, did you know it was? I'm wrong. It was September 22nd, not the 2nd.
Oh, okay.
So
well, it's coming up.
It's coming up, but I'm gonna have to go beat somebody up for telling me that it was that it was the day of.
Come on, man.
I mean, I have to fight this guy now because he told me about it. I trusted him as a source, and then I looked it up, and it wasn't right at all. It was 20 days off.
Well, to whoever the Oregon Duck is.
Coming for you, Dan.
You've got a fruit basket coming your way.
Yeah, I don't know what that, man. That's crazy that we manifested the Oregon Duck having a mishap. And that's probably like one of the worst ones, other than the thing that happened to the Chuck E. Cheese mascot where he did get hauled off in cuffs while wearing the costume.
It's not great.
Those poor kids had to watch that. But now that, I mean, this is the other thing that you don't want to happen.
You don't want to have to explain to your kid at the game, like, whoa, the Duck's head is on the field.
Yep,
no!
That's not good. Not a good thing.
Kids are crying, like, no, come on. Oh, all the pain and anguish that we caused thousands of miles away in Eugene, Oregon. We apologize for that. 875 KTGR. Was that the craziest thing that happened in this college football weekend? Tell us. 875 KTGR with a call or a text. Comment on our YouTube channel as well with that. I mean, before the game, certainly. On field, actual game things that happened. I would say that this result, I would not have been surprised by Florida State pulling it out. I was surprised by how lopsided it was. And I think that's Alabama's doing. Like,
we have to rethink Alabama.
Yeah.
We have to rethink the whole thing.
I really do think that's true. Yeah. That's a
we
tough
came in.
start.
It's a tough start. It's a tough. Now, kind of like last year when we saw who was it that beat Florida State week 1? We're like, whoa,
it was BC.
Was it Boston College?
BC.
Yeah.
Tommy Castellanos.
Yep.
And now he's doing it for Florida State. Yeah.
Going from
that's what they were calling
Tommy?
him on the broadcast on ESPN. They went to Tommy, and now he's beating Alabama.
I feel like we're being like Berenstein Bears on this one. It's like the Mandela effect. We're going to pretend he was Tommy the whole time. What do you mean? No, he was most certainly Thomas.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, I didn't think very much of him, honestly, when we saw he was fine. He was kind of like, a little Diego Pavia-esque, little pesky against Mizzou, but Mizzou got the job done. Close win.
Right.
And, we see he's taken over for a Florida State team that was terrible last year.
Right.
So what do we make of that result? You said more about Alabama. Could it mean Florida State is just kind of back in the mix? I'm sure they shot up the rankings.
Definitely not. Don't discount what Florida State did. Like, they played excellently, and Castellanos another year more seasoned. That does matter, and they did a lot to that roster too. That's the nature of college football. You can go 2 wins 1 year and then be right back at it the next year. Mike Norvell, one of those coaches that decided to take a pay cut so that he could put some of that money to NIL. That's a smart move, and I think more coaches should at least think about doing it. I'm not saying that you should just take a pay cut. All coaches should do it,
right,
but at least consider it, right? What is your school's finances? How can you stay competitive with everybody else? Mike Norvell did that, and he built a roster that was capable of doing what it did this Saturday, and I think that matters. And we'll see what that looks like for the ACC. I'm not still convinced that they're even the 3rd best team in the ACC, though, based on how some other teams played. So we'll certainly find out. But they definitely have that upward trajectory. And I didn't see the rankings this week, but I would assume that they're breaking in very soon at some point. But man, Alabama, like I get it. First start for that quarterback, and that is not the referendum on him. It shouldn't be, as it shouldn't be the referendum on any other new quarterback that played for a top program this weekend on the road in a big game and didn't do as well. There were several instances of that this weekend. So let's not just close the book on Ty Simpson, but like
pretty soon you might.
Pretty soon you might, and then your defense left nothing to be excited about.
You might be closing the book on Kalen DeBoer at some point. I mean,
which would be, I would call that unfair, but it's not. It's not wrong. It's not wrong based on where he is coaching.
It ain't about fairness in Tuscaloosa.
Nope.
I mean, it's about winning football games, and it just seems like, if I may, that he's given me the vibes of a guy that could be in over his head a little bit.
Possibly.
I mean, the way he sort of reacted to some things in the post game, there was a weird back and forth where a reporter kind of said, "Hey, you talked about it being a really good week of preparation." And he kept saying, you're talking about this coming week or what? And he's like, I said that? Oh, okay. And like, it's just like, there's a lot going through this guy's head right now that I just don't think. And there's some stuff this is the one sport where like the weird Twitter conjecture and the stuff that you see from a random burner in some random town in the southeastern United States. This is the one sport where you kind of look at that and go, might be true. Like, I think it was like the Bear Bryant's burner alternate universe, whatever account said, I was told by a booster and here's what they told me.
Boy.
And I'm like, I know this came from Bear Bryant's burner. I know it's not really Bear Bryant, but I'm reading it going, probably true. Like just talking about sort of the way that the players went throughout the week and they're getting their DoorDash at the hotel at 1 a.m. and just things that probably wouldn't have flown under Saban. And again, this is not coming from any verifiable reporter, but it's the kind of stuff that you go, I don't know. Is that what's going on right now with old Kalen DeBoer? Is he losing the reins on this thing early? If they don't have, look, Andy, I no longer think Alabama is Missouri's toughest remaining game on the schedule. 1 week has changed my opinion on that.
Oh, man.
I would have said coming into the season and did say that's the toughest one. That's the one that I marked as a loss. I'm changing it to a win. I've seen enough.
Boy.
I've seen enough of Alabama.
Okay.
Toughest game is
through
either South Carolina or Oklahoma for me at this point. Is the toughest. Maybe Auburn. I will say this.
We'll closer. I won't say that there's been an unseating, but the gap's closer. Like I'll say that for sure.
I think that I saw from Power Mizzou they posted that the ESPN, you know how they do like the predicted
FBI, the
percent chance to win. Yeah. I believe only 2 games are less than 50% according to that. One was Auburn
for Mizzou,
which was like, Auburn being the favored team according to their FPI or whatever. Yeah. And OU, I think, was the other one. Alabama being one that did switch.
So they're favoring Mizzou, at least by those metrics, not by point spread or anything. But
it's not a bettable point spread. I don't know if there's a look ahead line anywhere for Mizzou, Alabama. But I kind of agree with it. Like I could not have fathomed a week ago if you had said, hey, Brenden, you're going to be talking about being more worried about the Auburn game than the Bama game. And I think I am now. Like, again, neither are gimmies for Mizzou. There's a long way to go for Mizzou. But I think there's a better chance you beat Alabama at this point than you do Auburn because Auburn's on the road. And I will say this, Andy, I didn't think they were going to do it, but Auburn, I mean, they did look good. And Jackson Arnold didn't throw for much, but he ran the ball and showed explosiveness, ran it well. Auburn might be okay. And, I don't know, maybe that says more about Baylor. Your brother might call in and tell us his thoughts on that. But
I don't know.
Right now I'm a little more going, I don't know about that Auburn, but Bama, at least we got that one. Bama could be Florida State this year. And if they are, Kalen DeBoer will not retain that job beyond the season. I mean, they could go 7-5 and I wouldn't blink.
2-10, but they could go 7-5.
They could be the team this year that's a top 10 team to start the year, and then they are never heard from again. Bowl eligible, maybe. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but they got to turn things around because they did not play well enough against Florida State.
Call or text us your most surprising thing from college football week 1, 875-KTGR. Let's go to Marty on the KTGR hotline. Marty, what you got?
Well, you guys might get your wish. I think you've talked about this before, if I remember correctly, about going for it on 4th down with a unproven kicker. We may see more of that. I think Drink's got a real decision to make when you get inside the 40 with Craig. Anything was possible. Now, I don't know that you want to put Meyer in that position unless it's the end of the half or some circumstance along those lines. But I heard Brenden say earlier that he thought Corbelia had to do what he does. I agree with most of that, but I do think that maybe running him as often as you would really like might not be the situation now. And not to say that Zollers can't be effective, but boy, that's a lot to ask of a freshman. And one last thing, I'm a little surprised the spread on the Mizzou KU game is not higher. I think it's 6.5, 6.5.
Yeah.
I think it probably should be around that 7.5, 8.5 mark. But, like all Missouri fans would probably say, just win, baby. That's all I got. Thanks.
That's all it needs to be. Appreciate the call, Marty, here on the Big
Love
Show,
it.
KTGR. And that's certainly a good assessment with how that looks. Look, context, again, so important with Robert Meyer, right? Like, again, end of half, it's easy to let him go out there and say, all right, there's not much to lose here. Let's just make sure we get a good exchange, good snap, everything like that. Let's not get it blocked or have a big momentum swinging moment here. At least that's a consideration, but you do want to see what that young kicker has and what you could maybe use going forward in a big situation should it arise later in the season. Now on Pribula, like, I don't know. It is a very hard thing to balance, I think, with how you
can't be thinking about it, though.
The coaches can think about it. Bro Pribula does not need to think about it. The coaches can think about what positions do they want to put their quarterback in, knowing what their depth is now without Sam Horn. So, like, what does Kirby Moore decide? Does he decide to have more designed runs, or are you just going to rely upon the fact that, look, Bo Pribula, he's got a great ability to use his legs, great ability to get outside the pocket. He knows how to improvise if he needs it. Like, let's just let him showcase that at the very least, instead of trying to force the issue most of the time of having these designed runs, everything like that.
I would lean more into rolling him out a bunch where when he sees green grass, he can go than using him like a battering ram. Like, I don't think you have to do it's RPO stuff. It's rolling him out. And there's the option to just, take it if it's there. That's my preference anyway, I think, regardless of the Sam Horn thing. I think that is a good way to use him because it plays to his skill set. It plays to what we've seen Pribula. He can think on his feet a little bit. He's got out of this world athleticism. I think that's what makes a defense scared too. You have to figure out to defend his legs and his arm at the same time as a play develops or even kind of breaks down. That's when a Jaden Daniels was most scary, right? LSU. It's when the play has gone on for 4, 5, 6 seconds and there's no resolution. That's when that guy could hurt you. I want to see, I'm not saying Bo Pribula is Jaden Daniels, but that's the idea, I think, behind the style of player that you want him to be, is that guy that can extend a play and can hurt you in a variety of ways when he does.
Call or text us 875-KTGR here on the Big Show. James texting in Pribula 80-1, Hardy 250-1 for Heisman.
Is Hardy on the list? I'd have to find where that is. Unnamedsportsbook.com, of course, is what we talk about on this show. But I don't hate that at all. I would have thrown $5 on Hardy before the season if I could have found him, but I just didn't find him on any of those lists when I was in a jurisdiction of legality. Bo Pribula, however, I did have a little ticket on that. And, the odds shortened after his week 1 performance. It was, it was probably plus 10,000 before the season, and then it was maybe like plus 6,500. So it's still a long range kind of deal, but 100%. I mean, that is, we saw Hardy look like we thought he would. And I think, again, against better competition, as long as he's getting the run blocking up front, like he's not going to be able to do it alone, but if you give him even a little bit of a crease, he will blow up a would-be tackler and he'll be on his way. I mean, that is certainly what he's capable of doing. So we're talking about our biggest surprises from week 1, Andy. That didn't surprise us. Nothing we saw from Hardy nor Pribula, I think, was a surprise to Mizzou fans. Are you surprised, though, by the results of the picks of the week? You and me, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, putting the producers in their place.
Yeah, baby.
Finally.
Yeah.
Even if it's just by 1 game, I claim any victory over the producers after the way that last year went.
By the slimmest of margins. And now, like, on this, they went 3-2 the first week. Both of us went 2-3 individually. And then this week, both of us 3-2. They went 2-3. So now we are both at all 3 of us are at an even 500 for the first couple weeks of the season. No, it still felt good. Like, I kicked myself a little bit on, like, I
burned up about it too.
Yeah. Like the Florida, I had Alabama minus 14, had Notre Dame minus 2.5. And looking back, I'm like, what was I thinking? Like, inexperienced quarterback on the road versus experienced quarterback at home. That was a situation in both of them. And I'm like, yeah, really? Come on. could have been a little bit smarter in those situations, but I don't know.
You know, and I went pretty SEC heavy as I'm looking back on my picks. South Carolina, Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia, and LSU, all SEC teams. I went 3-2. Oklahoma, they kind of had a slow start with Illinois State. Ended up winning 35-3, but they needed 35.5. Georgia missed it by the hook. They beat Marshall by 38. I needed 38.5. So I was, a grand total about 4 points from a perfect week, but we'll take the 3-2. And that may be a theme for me is when there are good SEC picks on the table, I feel like that is my way to get off to a good start this season is picking those SEC games and trying to find some momentum there.
So that was our picks of the week this week. Brenden and I victorious. We share the spoils this week. We'll see who gets it next week. As we roll along on the big show, KTGR and the KTGR app. We're adding NFL to the mix in picks of the week for this Friday. So get ready for that as well. And on the other side of this break, we'll talk about the bold predictions we have for this NFL season. That's next on the big show.
Breaking down the Tigers, Cardinals, Chiefs, and more like no one else. The Big Show continues next on KTGR.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for Lee's Tire Company. They're my car people. I'm proud to say it. And if you go to Lee's Tire Company, you'll be proud to say it too, because whenever I bring my car into Lee's Tire Company, I know that I'm getting an honest assessment of what my car needs. If I need new tires, I know they've got an incredible selection to choose from, and they run specials every single month to put money back in your pocket if you need those new tires. And also, they've been family owned and operated in mid-Missouri for decades, and they treat their customers the same way they treat their family. So if you haven't experienced the Lee's Tire Company difference yet, go and check them out at leestirecompany.com. If you need new tires, you can browse through their extensive catalog, see which ones you need for your vehicle, and then go check out one of their 3 locations. They're on the Business Loop in Columbia, they're at University Garage right by the MU campus, and they have a location in Centralia that you can check out. Lee's Tire Company, they are the place to go for tires in mid-Missouri. Go check them out at leestirecompany.com. Because if it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Lee'sTireCompany.com.
Time is running out for the best full and part-time jobs in Columbia. Miller's Professional Imaging, the largest photography lab organization in the United States, is hiring. If you are energetic and enthusiastic, Miller's Professional Imaging wants you. Miller's offers competitive salaries up to $23 per hour with monthly profit sharing and no experience necessary. Don't wait. Time is running out for the best job in Columbia. To apply, please fill out an application under the employment link at millerslab.com.
On game day, every needs a. And every tailgate needs Kingsford charcoal. And a match. Whatever lot you're in, whatever you're grilling up for your fellow Tiger tailgaters, Kingsford charcoal is the official charcoal of Missouri football. Without it, you're just standing around in a parking lot. Since 1920, Kingsford has been proud to fire up your tailgates with friends and family. Kingsford.com.
Buckeye is fired up for Tiger football as Mizzou takes on the Kansas Jayhawks September 6th. Gear up with unbeatable deals on everything you need for tailgating, fall essentials, and all things farm, ranch, auto, home, and pet. Join the Buckeye Buyers Club for even more savings and keep the winning spirit going all season long. Join us for our live broadcast September 5th, 3300 Paris Road, Columbia, 11 to 1 p.m. Buckeye, your farm, ranch, auto, home, pet, and outdoor living destination. Go Tigers!
Get ready for game day with Zing Zang. Zing Zang has you covered. Kick off with their ready-to-drink Bloody Marys featuring 6 times distilled vodka, or turn up the heat with their blazing Bloody Mary. Prefer margs? Enjoy classic or mango margarita, both made with premium Blanco tequila. With 9% alcohol, these cocktails deliver bartender-quality cocktails with legendary taste. Find Zing Zang at your local retailer. Zing Zang, taste the legend, and please Zing Zang responsibly.
School's back. Schedules are packed, and the last thing you need is a list of home repairs. So reclaim your weekends with Bax Homeworks, the fastest, most affordable handyman service in mid-Missouri. Whether it's mounting that new TV, fixing leaky faucets, or replacing a ceiling fan, Bax has you covered. No job's too small, and no wait is too long. Visit Bax Homeworks on Facebook for monthly giveaways and awesome prizes. For more, visit BaxHomeworks.com. Bax Homeworks, getting your to-do list done.
Tired of calling Andy and Brenden? So are their wives. Then shoot them a text right now. 573-875-KTGR and become part of the Big Show.
I'll get fired up for this week. Mizzou, Kansas returns this Saturday. You can call or text us with your thoughts on how you think the game's going to go. 875-KTGR. And also tell us what you thought about that first full weekend of college football. Several that, a few major upsets, really one big major upset, and another one that's, maybe could have seen coming, was certainly within the realm of possibility. Texas, Ohio State, I think, delivered very well, even though it was very low scoring. But all in all, I think you love the way that this season started off.
I thought it was a really good and compelling week one. And when you have those top matchups on the docket, it's inevitable to have some good ones. And I was impressed by LSU against Clemson. It's another SEC matchup where I did think LSU was going to look better this year. And so far, that is an impressive win. I'm not shocked by that upset. That was my most confident pick of the week with LSU +4. And I just don't know where Dabo goes from here. Like, I'm not saying that to lose that game means he's just cooked, but that was kind of that measuring stick game of week one, and Clemson doesn't get that win. And so, we'll see where they go from here.
They have a good amount of season left to figure it out. There will be a ramp up to some of their bigger games too. Like their matchup with Florida State looks a little tougher now. I'm not sure if they get Miami or not, but there will be some interesting, more tests on that schedule, I think, than we realized for Clemson. And so if they're able to pass those, then they should be okay. But it's a big if, right? You don't know if that's going to be the case, right?
Yeah. Yep. And so, I'm always kind of like anti-ACC to think that they won't be a great conference. But in terms of my preconceived notions from the week, I certainly thought Notre Dame would handle Miami, and Miami has some juice. One of the spots on Miami that I was curious to see was all right, Carson Beck is fine, but I don't think he's a difference maker. His wide receivers are difference makers.
Oh, yeah.
Those kids at Miami, some of the catches they were making, they had this freshman, Malachi Toney. He was getting a little buzz coming into the game, and you could see why. He's a guy that they can rely upon right away. That catch on I think it was the second touchdown, I forget the kid's name, where he just skies for the ball. Beck just had to put it in an area, and this guy just goes up and makes a sprawling one-handed catch.
Between two guys, there's two defenders.
Yeah, between two defenders. So, you credit Beck for not throwing a pick, but also it was all the receiver doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
And so if that's what Carson Beck is throwing to at Miami, where they replaced they had Aya Manor that's now with the Titans and just announced that he's on their starting depth chart. They lost some guys from that receiving core. They replaced some talent, and Carson Beck just has to put it in an area, and those guys are going to go start mossing people. Yeah, Miami could be a problem this year. I was down on them last year because I just felt like they kept getting away with it when they weren't really that good. They might be better this year, and I'm not going to overreact to Notre Dame's first game, but Miami did impress me. That kind of surprised me.
Defense showed up too, right? Defense had some big plays there. That was the problem with Miami last year, outscoring everybody, but then giving up 30 plus points to Duke. And no, that wasn't going to be sustainable. And so if they're able to defend teams a little bit better this year, then that will help carry them to what could be a very interesting season for them. And it just made that, the ACC is interesting. The more teams at the top that could maybe change around. You throw Florida State in there. SMU is still kind of in the mix. We'll see how they do with their tougher games. I was, maybe North Carolina could have been okay, but
they're not going to be
thinking that's all that.
They better hope to make a bowl because they're paying too much money to that guy to not make a bowl.
Syracuse, looked, okay.
No, I was disappointed.
All that.
I thought they could catch Tennessee a little bit, trying to figure out its offense early in the year with a new quarterback. And that game was not as close as I thought it would be. I thought Syracuse would lose, but would maybe lose by 10, not 19 or whatever it was. So we'll see. That tentatively puts Tennessee in a pleasant surprise category for me, where I was ready to kind of make fun of them, and they handled their own. They're okay.
So tell us your big takeaways from the college football weekend. 875-KTGR. To call or text us here. Ben texting in, MU should win handily versus Kansas if Bo plays with no major mistakes, and our D keeps improving. It will
please.
be a 2-score game.
Can we talk about that from Marty? Because Marty said he was surprised by the spread being only 6.
Yeah, I'm
actually not surprised. No. Pushing it past a touchdown, if from like a gambling perspective, is a big deal. When you say, hey, these are 2 power opponents, this is going to be beyond. We're going to go from 6 to 7.5 would be a significant move.
It's got to be a lot.
One that I don't see coming.
Yeah.
I am cool with Mizzou. I hope Mizzou wins, so I'm glad they're favored. But I don't need it to be like this. Oh, they're -14, like an Alabama against a Florida State, and then you drop it.
Some of it may also, some of it that's could be playing in is like Kansas has played 2 games already and has had very little trouble with either one. And so,
they played Wagner this week, so we're not looking at that in the same way we don't look at Mizzou's opener. But Fresno State, do we know what did Fresno State do this weekend, actually? Because I meant to look at that. Because all we have is the transitive.
I don't think
there we go.
Okay, they got to win. Hey, Georgia Southern, that's not a bad program there. They pummeled them.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Fresno pummeled Georgia Southern, so that means that Kansas is even better than we thought. Great.
Awesome. That's probably why.
This is going to be
a little bit.
Picks of the week. I don't know that I would say I'm a shoo-in to want to see Mizzou -6 on my picks of the week board, just because money line is all that matters this week. You got to win this game. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be stomach turning. I think Mizzou can pull this out, but that margin, I know people say, I thought Mizzou would be favored by more. Not me. I think it's going to be a true test, especially with how Kansas has, handled its business so far as well.
Ben also texting in on Ohio State, Texas. Arch Manning's still going to be great. It was his first big game against a perennial top 5 defense. Give him a break. His uncle had a horrible rookie year with the Colts.
He is the only Manning to be, the one his dad is the one that didn't play in the NFL, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
the lineage is not.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I see. Yeah.
Cooper. His dad's Cooper,
I get
right?
That. Yeah. He would have, though, if he hadn't gotten hurt. He was good enough. He was able to.
I don't know.
Yeah, he was a wideout.
I don't know I don't know the lore.
Yeah.
The other 2 were good quarterbacks that had long NFL careers, and it's like we hyped this one up, and his dad didn't even play in the league.
Oh,
no, I've seen some takes like that. What? No, but be honest. It's easy to sit here and say, I don't overreact. How do you react to what you saw from Arch Manning?
I'm not overreacting to it. I think he'll be fine.
He'll be fine?
Is fine good enough for Texas, though? That's also part of it. And does he need to be more than fine in order for that team to be talked about as a consensus top 5, contending for the SEC championship eventually? So much. If he had been starting against, Texas State, first game of the year, then we don't have these takes, right? The fact that his first ever start, again, is in a highly hyped up environment, as hyped up as you can get it. And he still had a chance in the final 2 minutes to drive down the field and get it done. No, he didn't. But there will be more chances for him to do that in big time games. And I didn't see anything that said he would be incapable of making it a different result the next time.
He's QB number blank in the country, in your opinion, because people were saying he was the best quarterback in the country. I know, and I'm not saying Well, no, I don't think it is after last week, but that's all we've seen is him play against probably the best defense in the country at home. So, you know what I mean? Ohio State's going to be great this year defensively. And that environment had to be a difficult one to play in, first start or not. But what would you say? Is he a top 10 quarterback in the country? Is he a top 25 quarterback in the country?
I'd say 25.
I don't know.
I think so.
I'd say he's in the top 25 somewhere, but I don't know that I'm confident in that. We'll see him he'll throw 8 touchdowns next week against, Podunk State. But I'm just saying it's notable to have that kind of beginning because to his credit, he was not this guy coming in all haughty and acting like he had done something. He said at SEC Media Days, I haven't really done anything yet to deserve all this attention.
Yeah.
That's just my name, but that's about it. And I have to go prove myself. So he's handled it the right way, but now it's going to be, dust yourself off after a pretty bitter pill. Just didn't play well in that game, but you're right. I think when you consider the competition he was up against, they're going to be not a one game on his schedule the rest of the way is going to be as tough as that one. So it's should be all up from here, but I don't think we can look at him and say, oh, he's Heisman candidate. I don't know if he is right now. He's got to prove that first. I think he knows that.
There will be some important ones, though, and there will be an expectation for him to figure it out quicker than most quarterbacks have to or have the ability to because
That's
of
fair.
how hyped up he is, because of who his family is, and for the team that he plays for. And the fact that team kind of needs him. Like, they have a ton of talent, don't get me wrong, but the depth maybe isn't as vast as it was the year before. And so, like, Arch Manning does have to make his teammates better, if you will. Like, what you hope for out of every single quarterback of his caliber, of his hype, to be able to take Texas to where it wants to be. So, I don't know. Very interesting first week for him.
Storylines.
Oh,
we
man.
got him, baby.
They abound. And they're plentiful here in Columbia, Missouri throughout the next few days. Call or text us here at 875-KTGR to weigh in on the college football week. We'll get our NFL bowl predictions to you next after this live local sports center.
Now, your local sports center update on your total sports station, KTGR.
Good afternoon. I'm Andy Humphrey. This Sports Center update is with Lee's Tire Company. If it's round and rubber, Lee's sells it. Go to leestirecompany.com. News from Mizzou head football coach Eli Drinkwitz. Starting kicker Blake Craig is out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. He suffered that injury on Thursday night in the Tigers opener against Central Arkansas. He was the starter all last season for Mizzou, and in that game against Central Arkansas had field goals of 49 and 55 yards long. Tigers will have Robert Meyer place kicking going forward and Oliver Robbins handling kickoffs per Drinkwitz. Drinkwitz also said that quarterback Sam Horn will be out, quote, an extended period of time, end quote, after suffering an injury in his first play of the game in the first quarter at quarterback. Horn was competing with Bo Prabula for the Tigers' starting quarterback job this summer. Tigers take on the Kansas Jayhawks at 2:30 on Saturday at a sold-out Memorial Stadium. It'll be the 14th consecutive sellout for the building, dating back to 2023. The Yuengling Tiger Game Day Show begins at 11:30 Saturday right here on KTGR. Your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast is with the Boone County Office of Emergency Management, inviting you to the 5th Annual Ready Festival at Cosmo Park September 18th. Visit ready.boonemo.org.
I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner. I'm tracking partly cloudy skies tonight. We drop down into the upper 50s. Tomorrow will be mostly sunny to start with increasing clouds, a high in the low 80s. We'll see a chance for some showers and storms by early evening. Some of those could produce heavy rain and gusty winds and perhaps even some small hail. We're much cooler by Thursday morning as temperatures drop into the low 50s. I'm ABC 17 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Jessica Hafner, and that's your ABC 17 Storm Track forecast on your total sports station, KTGR.
Join the biggest party of football season at KTGR's Tiger Tailgate. Download the KTGR app and find a full list of locations where you can pick up your free Tiger Tailgate passes. Then come party with free food and drinks 2.5 hours before each Mizzou kickoff in front of Mizzou Arena. It's our Tiger Tailgate with Dive Bar, Bud Light, High Noon, Zing Zang, Lucky One Lemonade, and Midmo Water Solutions. Find out where you can pick up your free passes on the KTGR app.
Hi, everyone. Andy Humphrey here for ProfitShares.com. That's PROPHET shares.com. There's a pretty big rivalry game happening here in Columbia very soon, and you know who's going to win, right? So go and put that knowledge to the test. Go to ProfitShares.com. Totally free to play. You don't have to put anything in. They'll give you a set of play money to use so that you can start making predictions, and you can go to college sports, professional sports, football, baseball, golf, so much more. They've also got several contests running, like a Survivor football contest that you can enter into. And as you get more picks right, you build up that play money allotment of yours, and then you can use that to redeem restaurant gift cards, charitable donations. And again, you're not losing a single thing. It is totally free. So go check out ProfitShares.com. Again, that's profit with a PH, PROPHET, shares.com. Start your account today and start making those predictions. Be the sports prophet that you claim to be. ProfitShares.com.
There's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to football weekends, and that's what makes Yinglings such a great pick. From traditional lager to light lager, flight, golden pilsner, and black and tan, they brew a beer for everyone's taste. Whether you're manning the grill, setting up the tailgate, or just watching with friends, Yinglings got a flavor that fits the moment. Brewed with nearly 200 years of tradition by the oldest brewery in America, Yingling. Legends stand the test of time. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
Columbia just got armed. Minutemen Defense is your new destination for guns, ammo, and tactical gear that means business. From holsters and body armor to night vision and magazines, if you need it, they've got it. Plus, the cheapest ammo in town, guaranteed. Located right off I-70 and Rangeline for fast, easy access, locally owned, veteran approved, built for serious shooters. Minutemen Defense. Get there. Visit MinutemenDefenseLLC.com.
Discover, explore, and soak in the views of the incredible landscapes that make up the last frontier, Alaska. Experience the diverse culture and rich history as we cruise the Pacific coast and explore the wilds of Denali, Glacier Bay, and beyond. Join Zimmer Communications and Colette Travel September 9th at 6:30 p.m. at the Courtyard Marriott in Columbia for an informational meeting. Alaska, the last frontier, and it's waiting for you. To RSVP and learn more, go to ZimmerCommunications.com.
Everyone has their go-to game day outfit. Maybe it's a comfy black and gold hoodie or that old hat you wear because it still hasn't been to a losing game. Hi, this is Sophie Cunningham, and if you really want to stand out on game day, talk to the team at Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia. Rock your favorite team's colors with a beautifully designed, one-of-a-kind custom piece of jewelry from Betts Jewelers in downtown Columbia, our hometown jeweler. MIZBETZ.
These beautiful moments begin at Betts. Begin at Betts.
Drove your new Defender, 63. Got in a fender bender with an SUV. No need to shout, don't go crazy. Just get your phone out, call FPP. They do all the work with your insurance company. 1, call the number. 2, take it in. 3, get your car back like new again. Take from me, they make it hassle-free. You can't go wrong with the easiest thing. Just a 1, 2, 3 with FPP. FPPBodyShop.com.
If it's Mizzou sports, it's happening here. Now, back to the big show on KTGR.
Call or text us here at 875-KTGR to weigh in on the week that wasn't college football. What you got, Brenden?
I was wondering if you saw this from today. I had gotten involved. It is Mizzou KU related, and sometimes I can't help myself. This was a tweet that I saw from Sam Winton, whose bio lists him as a KU journalism student, class of 2026.
Yeah.
And it's a photo from the Kansas campus. The M's on the sign outside of the rec have been crossed out. The border war is back, except for when you zoom in on the sign. It says this lot is enforced by email citations. Paper tickets might not be placed on the vehicle at the time of violation. There's 2 M's on the sign that are crossed out. There's 3 M's on the sign. They didn't even bother crossing out the first M. And so I put out there and I retweeted it and said, takes a KU education to miss the very first M on the sign. I just wanted to say the border war is indeed back, and I had to weigh in as well with that. So that's
that's fair.
That's my contribution.
That is a fair thing to point out. When it comes to M's are
miss the first M. Like if you're gonna do it, just do it.
How do you miss the first? It's okay if you missed if there's 5 or 6 on there and maybe the
I don't think it is
when you gloss by. Yeah,
I think if you're gonna bother to do it, probably ought to just do it right. But that's fine. That's
proofread.
Again,
anybody do that around there? Not sure.
It may help. That's all I'm saying. I also we took our son to the zoo today for his birthday, and I had a picture of we saw the tiger. Always love to go by and see the tiger, and I did kind of Photoshop a little Jayhawk in his mouth because the tiger was gnawing on like a piece of meat or something, and so I kind of put that on there and said he was having a little snack. So I'm like, I feel like I'm 2 for 2 today in jokes about Kansas on social media. So
was he having a snack though? Like that's not a real bird. It probably was just air.
It could not have been couldn't have been very filling. No. Something that doesn't exist.
I had to make sure that he got a supplementary snack to actually
for sure
get
yes
the calories that he needed in that moment.
Of course, to be the great Tiger that he is. Yes.
875 KTGR. It's going to be a fun week, I think. Even the lead up to it, you're probably stressed out and all get out when it comes to this game. We hear you. We understand when it comes to this week. It's finally here.
Yeah, well, if you think you're stressed out, just be the Oregon Duck this week. I mean,
golly!
you got a lot to get into. Keep that helmet on. Strap that head on there, bud.
A little extra tight for the next one.
Sorry about that.
All right. Bold predictions for the NFL season that starts Thursday.
Yeah, that's here too.
Here, right?
It's arrived in earnest. Here's a bold prediction. The Cowboys are about to get walloped on Thursday night. I do not
bold?
think. Nah, I don't know. Is it bold to say they're going to lose by 3 touchdowns?
No.
I'm talking about Chapel Bill level.
I think that's on the table. Yes.
Against the Eagles.
Yeah.
That's going to be, I mean, the vibes can't be good right now if you're Dallas, right? As much as those players, it's not their fault that Jerry Jones doesn't know what he's doing. I just feel like the vibes have got to be in the back of your mind. You're going, Mike is supposed to be out there with us.
Yeah.
Mike is supposed to be leading our defense.
Interesting first impression of Brian Schottenheimer, right? He's got the ammunition of nobody thinks about our team right now because everyone's just been talking about Micah and now he's not even here and they're all being discussed. So you have the ability to at least motivate your guys to the sense that you can play well that day. But are we sure that's going to happen? I think Brian Schottenheimer will be an okay coach there. Is okay good enough? I don't know. It's very, very interesting. But
I don't know what the spread is, but if it's bold, I'm saying I'm taking Philly and I'm taking them by double whatever the spread is. There's your bold prediction.
Along that same vein, my bold prediction is that the Packers win the division.
Okay.
In that loaded NFC North.
How bold is that? Is that what would the odds say on that as of right now?
Well, I don't know how they've changed since then, but I would think that they still had maybe the second best odds. I don't know. The Vikings still were kind of up there though, weren't they?
Yeah, well, they ought to be, but the Vikings to me might be the value if they've dropped a bunch as a result, because I still think that they've got a really good head coach. But, Micah Parsons, are you at all worried about Micah Parsons if he's going to play? Because they're still going, he's got this, he might need these injections. They're really, if it's fake, they're really playing it up and acting like it's not fake.
I'll tell you what the injection is. You know what the injection is? It's $133 million guaranteed.
U.S. dollars.
It's the injection into the
That's how I feel. But I'm just asking because there is still Ian Rappaport's putting tweets out about it going, he's got the L4 vertebrae and the L, they're really, it's thou doth protest too much to me. I don't believe it for a second, but they're insisting that this is a thing.
And look, it probably is, but it's amazing how it can be figured out and be less of a story.
Bold prediction. He's playing in week 1. That's my bold prediction.
He is going to play.
Packers are the favorite, by the way.
Do you want another one?
Yeah, I do, because the Packers are the favorite. That can't be that bold. They're plus 165, better odds than the Lions and Vikings.
Okay. Chargers miss the playoffs.
Okay. Interesting. It's kind of a put up or shut up year for Justin Herbert, isn't it? I know we've probably said that before. But you know what? Again, with them not being that bold, the Broncos have better odds in the West than the Chargers do. People are starting to believe in the Broncos, and Sean Payton does it for 1 year, and they say, well, another year with his quarterback. Clearly he's found his guy. We weren't so sure, but Bo Nix was good enough. My bold prediction is the Broncos don't take a step forward, in my opinion, the way that a lot of people say. I'll take Chargers over Broncos this year. Final standings.
Yeah, the thing is, the Broncos racked up a lot of wins against not a lot of good quarterbacks last season. Just so that kind of inflated their standing a little bit. And now you've got, I guess still a third place schedule that they're dealing with. So we'll see how tough it is going forward. But they had a last place schedule, I believe, the last time, and so it lucked out a lot with that. I don't think they are. I still think that Bo Nix has the ability to elevate them a little bit more. I like the rest of that team a little bit better. On the Chargers side, I really do think that Rashawn Slater injury is going to bite him.
It could.
That is a huge one, man. And
I hope it doesn't impact Hampton that much because I have a lot of Hampton for fantasy. Their rookie running back out of North Carolina, by the way.
And they had time. They've had several weeks since that's happened to prepare for it. And Joe Alt probably is capable of playing either tackle. That's fine. But what's the ripple effect? And I just don't know if they'll be the 1% better that they need to be in order to keep up with everybody else. And so that's kind of where I'm at with them, that the rest of the AFC will probably have an upper hand against them that they didn't before.
I think that's fair. By the way, doubling back, the Broncos are plus 135 to miss the playoffs. Chargers are plus 110. So both of them kind of slightly more likely to make the playoffs than miss it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's bold to say one of them are going to miss it. I think one of them falls short. You think it's going to be the Chargers. I kind of think it's going to be the Broncos, although you didn't commit to saying that the Broncos would be in either. We'll have a lot more bold predictions, I'm sure, as the NFL season goes along. But to end on this one for today, another one that's maybe not that bold. But there's a guy that plays quarterback for Kansas City, and he is fourth on the odds board here that I'm looking at for NFL MVP.
Oh, boy.
He's winning that award this year. Mahomes is going to be the MVP. That's my...
He's had to hear all summer long about that Super Bowl.
And they're going to throw. They're going to throw more. I know he's going to be missing Rashee Rice for the first 6 weeks. I think it's going to be a requisite year for Kelsey. Worthy is going to be more than a one-trick pony, and they're going to get Rice back eventually, and it's on like Donkey Kong. Love that Chiefs offense this year.
I mean, that is going to be something else. So those are some bold predictions. We'll have more throughout the rest of the week, I'm sure, leading up to the start of the NFL season, and, of course, the start of the Chiefs season on Friday. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks to the injury expert, Will Carroll, for joining us as well. We are back tomorrow at 4 o'clock talking more about this Mizzou-KU rivalry that is getting renewed this weekend. He's Brenden. I'm Andy. We're done for now.
Michael Agnew here with API Project Fitness. I understand that life is hard, and if you're soft, it will squish you. You must find a way to be hard. Armor yourself